Art to Listening, Atta'ya Reed Brown.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most distinguished guests. Every day was long, but today was especially long for James. All he wanted was to get home, fulfill his daily, every other day obligation, picking up the kids, and get home and see Monday Night Football. That's it. So, exhausted and excited all in one, he drives on over, picks up the kids, gets them in, makes sure they get off to their homework, and as he does every day, "Hey honey, how was your day?" So Anna responded, "It was great. The doctor called and said the vasectomy didn't take. We're expecting triplets, and I got a layoff notice today." But remember, James had a plan. So he said, "That's great, honey. Love you." Now, this may come as no surprise to some of you, but men, they're not good listeners. But studies also tell us that, shockingly, most of us are not good listeners. So I'm not off the hook. We fake paying attention. We can look right at someone, nod and smile at just the right time. Yeah. But in reality, we didn't hear a word they were saying. And to add, we might be thinking in our head, "Please don't ask me about what you said because I have no clue. I have other things that are going on." And I'm willing to bet money that we've all found ourselves in this situation at some point in time. So, is it that we really didn't hear? No, not at all. You heard it, but hearing is actually physiological, not psychological. So technically, girls, women, you can't tell your boyfriend that you're not paying attention to me. No. See, listening involves actually paying attention and understanding what you heard. Thus, men's excuse. "You weren't making any sense. I don't know what you were talking about." That's right. Blame it on us, guys. But I've got more facts. Much like reading. We'll read a chapter, get to the end and say, "What the heck did I just read? What did I walk away with?" And if you're like me, you were so busy taking notes that you really weren't comprehending any of it at all. So, not to give guys a valid excuse to use with your girlfriends or wives, but it's said that we actually grasp 50% of what we hear, and 24 hours later, we only remember 10%. So what does that mean? When in college, what do? We sit in lectures all the time. But our parents want us to get straight A's because they're paying all of that money. Or your boss is giving you a long to-do list, but you're thinking about, is it 5 o'clock yet? Or better yet, your significant other is telling you again, "Put your keys on the key rack and do not leave your shoes by the door." Ugh! Seriously though, listening is important. It's an important part of speaking. These are places where sometimes we may even underestimate the gravity and opportunity we have here in Toastmasters. It is equally as important to practice your speaking, giving speeches, as it is to practice listening so we can effectively evaluate, monitor, and preside. But sometimes our brain just checks out. Or in some cases, it checks way in, too far. So what do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. I'm willing to bet money that since I've been talking for not quite 5 minutes yet, someone has thought about, what did I eat for breakfast today? Dang, I have a meeting in 30 minutes. Or better yet, is it off Friday yet? Is it vacation time? So not concentrating was James's issue, right? And I'm sure his wife pointed that out later that night. But in reality, he could blame it on spare brain time. That's right. Our brain is actually capable of taking in way more than the average person speaks. So James could technically go back to Anna and say, "Honey, you just weren't talking enough. So you left my brain with all this room to keep on thinking. And you can't blame my high-functioning brain, right? It's scientifically proven. Now, I don't know what happened to James that night, but I'm just telling you guys, don't use that as an excuse with your significant other, okay? Because I'm not going to take the blame when you come back and tell me how that went. On the other side of that, we have the person that listens too hard, as I mentioned earlier. You know, the person so intently taking notes, highlighting, putting all the indents and so forth in place to be sure that they have it all in order. And then when the speaker's all done and they say, okay, it's question and answer period, then they raise their hand. So, what was your speech about again? And everybody's like, did he really just ask that question? Or if it was me as the speaker, I would say, I just told you. And then give that side look like, is this person serious? So, now, there are two more that I'll quickly state, which you want to be mindful of. Those are jumping to conclusions and focusing on appearance and delivery rather than content. We've all seen the movie where the guy sets up this nice scene and the girl gets excited and she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I'll marry you! And he's like, I was just going to ask if you wanted to meet my sister. She's coming to town tomorrow. Or, for us ladies, maybe there's a gorgeous presenter with beautiful green eyes and kissable lips. We just get lost. And all I'm thinking about is, I wonder what those lips are like. I'm sorry. Maybe I just told on myself. Sorry. The whole point is that we're supposed to practice active listening, right? And giving undivided attention. Remove distractions and make a genuine effort to listen. But in my defense, I just want to say I was genuinely listening to the genuinely attractive man. Okay? Okay. But seriously, we have to take listening seriously and focus. Last but not least, there is an art to taking notes using keywords. So what are my takeaways here? You probably heard 50% of what I was saying. And tomorrow, you'll remember 10%. But you've got to start somewhere, right? And I'd rather have left you with something than nothing at all. Thank you very much.